Yellow, yellow. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you all for joining once again. If I seem a little winded, it's because I've been dancing with Tina Turner. Honestly, I thought she was going to live forever. I really thought she was. She was in fantastic shape, and she's 83. And it sounds stupid. Her, Tina Turner, Betty White, and Cicely Tyson, I convinced myself that they were going to live forever. And now I'm seeing the reality. If you love Tina Turner, leave your favorite Tina Turner song in the comments. I would love to see it. I was going to start off by dancing to her music, but there's a whole copyright issues thing for when it posts onto my YouTube. But we will remember her fondly. We have lots of memories. I'll tell you my favorite scene in What's Love Got to Do with It. It's at the very end. Her and Ike have had their 100th physical fight, and my girl there's like a knot right here. It's all blue, and she's bloody. Her lip is swollen. Her face is covered in blood, and she escapes Ike, gets to the hotel across the street, walks up to the counter, and she says, I don't have any money. I don't have anything I can give you. But if you would put me up for the night, I promise I will pay you back. And, the rest is history. This is when she finally leaves him. This is when it was the end of the road. And that scene alone gives me so much chill because it reminds me of us Black womenpreneurs, and how we sometimes have to come to people in states of desperation because it's like, listen, I don't got a lot in my pocket, but I got to get this thing going. And if you would take a chance on me now, I promise it will be worth your while. And I just feel that strongly. If you have a favorite scene, let me know. If you want to watch What's Love Got to Do with It, I believe it's on Disney. For all the Tina Turner fans, we will miss her and remember her fondly. But let's jump into what you came here for. I couldn't just leave and not do this. So this might not be the best time because I know everybody's mourning Tina Turner right now, but I wanted to show up anyways. And this recording is going to be available to everyone afterwards. So we're going to jump in. I first want to remind everyone about where you can find me on Instagram. If you didn't catch my Instagram handle last time, it's at I am Sandra Gabriel. And you can also join my guest list at sandragabriel.com. Okay, now let's really jump in. I want to start off by saying that there's one way. We're talking about laying the groundwork for success and how to build a strong foundation for your business. And I have some points that I cover, but one of the most important things you can do in terms of setting a foundation for your business is to make God your boss, because he will give you direction. He will give you wisdom. He will allow you to pass through the storms of your business, because we are all going through trial and tribulation at some point or another in our lives. And it's the fortification and the peace of God that lives within us that allows us to be able to push forward despite the circumstances. The thing that keeps me getting up every day is the fact that I have been fortified by Christ to not give up in whatever situation my business is in. So make God your boss. That's the hashtag. God is my boss. And I made a t-shirt. I didn't give it out. I haven't made any others, but I have a t-shirt and it says Christianpreneurs, God is my boss. And I really, really want you to consider, I don't know if you're a believer or not, but one thing is true, and I actually have the scripture. It's Proverbs 19, verse 21, that says there are many plans in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the Lord's counsel that will stand. So I can run about like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to do this, do that. when I could really just go straight to the source, my God and my Savior, and ask Him and say, God, what should I do? Instead of getting all anxious and worried and frantic, we take it to the throne where He is able to make sense out of any confusion. Trust and believe in that. Because there are many times where I myself, I'm in confusion. And in those moments, I forget, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then it's like, you know what? I need to pray or I need to write. Sometimes I write to God as well. And then the answers just come. You know, by the end of it, you're feeling refreshed and like you have some clear direction. So, you know, don't take my word for it. I've only been in business for 18 years, haven't been sunk in yet because it is He that upholds me. So I urge you strongly to make God your boss. But our first pillar in laying the groundwork for success, and we spoke about this last night, is your vision. What's the vision? And I know that this is something that's not always easy for people to bring about, because it's like, well, the vision could be so vast, right? My vision could be that everybody is rich and there is no poor or homeless people. That could be a really grand vision, but it's a vision. It's something that it's something to strive towards, right? And that's one thing with vision. With vision is that it's not supposed to be something that you can reach. If you're thinking about a vision or a dream, and it's like, oh well, you know, I would love to buy a new car one day. That could be a vision. Let me not shoot that down. That could be a vision, but it's easily attainable by, you know, making certain steps, by saving, making more money, whatnot. But sometimes we have a bigger vision in terms of how we want to impact our community, impact the people that we work with, our families, etc. And so when we think about that, what is that bigger vision? What is it that I see for the people who surround me and people in our society, right? Strangers or neighbors. What is it that I see for all of us? And so when you think about vision, this is where the foundation is built, because everything you do is going to trickle through everything you do. And when times get tough and you prayed and you don't know what to do, you're going to remember, why am I doing this? You're going to remember why you're doing it, and it's going to bring you back to reality, bring you back to be able to make decisions moving forward. So part of your vision, part of being clear on your vision, is defining your purpose, mission, your values, which again, these are not things that you sit down in an afternoon and you can write it out. That's only if for so long, you know, you're really passionate about something and then finally you sit down to write it out. But people often go to workshops for these things, writing missions and visions and purpose. Like, people really invest in these things. There are companies that will spend thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars to have that foundation set. Mission, vision, purpose, values, value proposition, all of that. There are companies that pay top dollar for these things. So don't be afraid when you feel like, man, it's taking me so long. Sometimes you need inspiration to hit before you're able to really spell out what it is that you're standing for. But as long as you're keeping your mind open and you're doing the research and just looking to what is the problem that I'm solving, you're going to see the vision become so clear. And ask yourself, what impact do I want to make? Do I want to see homeless people off the street? Do I want to see less less children on the street? I just had, man. Our leadership, our future leaders, quick story. I'm here on the phone and I see 3 kids on the scaffolding across the street, walking across the scaffolding, and people are trying to talk to them and they're pointing the finger at them and mooning them. I mean, my vision right now is that our future leaders are not these people. That's my vision, is that we have future leaders who want to sit down and read a book, who want to learn how to code, who want to do this and do that. And so when it comes to your vision and you're thinking about the impact that you want to make, think about, how can I create something new, be a game changer in my community? And where do you see yourself in the future? Now, not everybody is thinking about running big companies into the future. Some people want to create a company, build it up, sell it, and then live the rest of their life in leisure, traveling and doing these things. And that's totally fine. But you have to know what that is, what that future looks like for you, so that you have something to look towards. It's your North Star, right? This is the direction that you're going. This is where you want to go, and you get on that boat and you keep going and you don't stop, because you're driven, right? You have that vision, you see that, and that's all that you can see. So having a compelling vision provides direction, clarity, and acts as your North Star, as I just said, guiding your decision-making process and keeping you focused on the ultimate objectives. And decision-making process is so important. You're going to be making major decisions about your business based on what your vision is. So if you don't know what your vision is and you're making decisions, there's no telling where you can end up. And it's important to know where you can end up, because that's how you're able to plan for the future, right? If I know that, if I decide to, let's say I have inventory and I decide to buy 100 new boxes of my product, but I don't know who's out there to sell, I could be left with 100 boxes of product, sitting around my house and collecting dust. Whereas if I know more about my vision, I know the people who want my product. After there's only 20 in my area, I'm going to get 20 boxes, right? So you save money, you save time, and you speak to exactly who you want to speak to, and make your business foundation strong. Like, this is the stuff that is built off. If you do nothing else, after making God your boss, set your vision and be really clear. Because the other thing that might happen is, like, you have your vision and then you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for my vision. But then it's like, oh, this is not going to work. And then you have to pivot. But the vision is still the same. It just means that you're going to find another way to get there. So the next pillar in building a strong foundation is your market research, knowing and understanding your target audience. And this is crucial. Again, I bring up relationships. You meet somebody and you want to know that they know you. You don't want it to be 2-3 months in and they're buying you hot dogs as a snack and you hate hot dogs. Wouldn't you like to know that this person was listening to me when I was talking? They know what my favorite things are. They know the things I don't like. And so when you know your audience on an intimate level, when you know and understand them, you're way better able to help solve their problems or to meet their needs. So understanding your audience, it's the whole of your business. You set the foundation, great. Now you got to bring people in. You got to know these people, get to know these people, and let them get to know you as well. You want to conduct thorough market research, identify their needs, their desires, their pain points. Understanding pain points is a really big seller too, because if you know what people hate, then you are less likely to become that so that you don't piss them off or turn them off before you even get to talk to them. But learning all of this, what are their desires, what are their dreams, and no matter what you're selling, I'm not talking about, oh, well, I'm selling them coaching, so yeah, I need to know what their desires are. No, if you are selling gas, if you are selling clothing, or if you are selling baby food or whatever it is, you need to have that intimate understanding about your customer, about your audience, because that's what helps you relate to them. You can build messages that really speak to them, and you come to them from a place of understanding, so they feel that. That's something that, it just comes across authentic when it is authentic, and people could feel that and they could read that, and now they feel like they can have a relationship with you. And relationships in business are everything. It's how you're going to make your first clients. It's how you're going to grow your business. It's how you're going to network, come into different opportunities. So relationships are super important. Your audience is not just the people that you're selling to. Your audience is the media and sponsors and the community, the local community as well. And when you're doing like full-fledged campaigns, of course, you would have communications for each of them. But at the core of it, it's the common understanding that you have about your audience. It's going to help you start from there and then expand into all of these other audiences. So do your research, make sure you know who they are, develop buyer personas that will encapsulate their characteristics. So a buyer persona just is your way of creating a description or defining the profile of a pretend customer. So I had a buyer persona My buyer persona was, did I give her name? Yes, her name was Jasmine. My buyer persona's name was Jasmine, and she works full time in corporate, making six figures. She loves her work, but at the same time, she feels called to do something else, like to serve the community in another way. She likes to go to Starbucks to read or to do business during the week. She likes to go traveling. I broke it down completely because I had to understand who my customer is. And then when I find those relatable points, doesn't matter what I'm selling, I have an in. Oh, you like to travel? I like to travel too. Where was the last place that you traveled? Oh, I was here for this conference. Oh, you went to that conference. And then the conversation goes on, and you're starting to build rapport. Right now, I'm not saying you're going to have these individual conversations with everybody, but for the most part, the more you understand your customer, you can have those conversations, because you're going to be sharing messaging, advertising, things like that, that will go to that broader audience. But when you're out in the field and you're networking and making connections, knowing who your buyer is, the moment you spot them, you know who they are, and you're able to talk and relate to them. And then, come with your spiel, your elevator pitch, to bring them on as a new customer. So developing buyer personas is really, really going to help you. And by truly understanding your audience, you can tailor your products, your services, whatever it is that you're selling. You can tailor what you're selling to your customer. Because as they tell you, as you sell things, services, or products, and they tell you what they like, what they don't like, you can refine that. Now, it may cost you some money because you've already spent, doing so much over here, and you got to change it to this color or that size or this consistency. But it's going to last you. Making those changes are things that are going to last you long term, because your clients are going to love that, right? Like, oh, great, you got that scent. I love it, right? So be willing to adapt and be flexible for things like that. Now, the next pillar, let me just grab some water. The next pillar is strategic planning. And that's the fun part. I would say, yeah, strategic planning is pretty fun, because this is where you can now let all marketing ideas out. A lot of times people have a great business idea, but the thing that really excites them is marketing that business and how we're going to get it out there. And so you're going to need some form of a roadmap on how you are going to set up your business, how you're going to run it, how you're going to market the business. And it has to outline like your short-term goals, your long-term goals, because what it does is it leaves you that timeline, that visual timeline of what am I doing every day? What am I doing every week to be able to meet my objectives and to realize my plan? So if you're doing short-term, I believe short-term is like, 1 to 3 years, and long-term could be like 5 to 10 years or more. But I like to think in terms of every quarter, because it's very short-term. But that's a beginning point, right? The quarter is the beginning point. And then as you're planning for longer, as you start to plan that out, you can see each step of the process. Okay, well, if we're doing this in this quarter, then next quarter might look like this, so I can do that. And it is sometimes scary to plan too far ahead, because things could change and there goes your whole plan. But as long as you have a steady framework for your plan, you should be able to put something together that's going to sustain no matter what happens. Even if you have to make small tweaks here and there, the whole thing falling apart should not be the result. It should be that you created a plan that is strong, it's a strong framework, and even if things don't go your way in terms of the industry or your customers, you can make a short, little pivot, and you're still able to maintain with what you're doing. But you develop a strong strategic plan that outlines your short-term and your long-term goals, and using the SMART framework, so we all know: specific, measurable, relevant, achievable, relatable, relevant and time bound. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And time bound is really the thing that seals it off, because a lot of us will create goals and say, okay, I want to do this, and there's no definitive timeline which really does us a disservice, because now things that we want to achieve, things that we need to achieve to be able to move to the next level are kind of just flailing in the wind, and we don't want that. So make sure you have a specific time. And every time I'm writing, a goal or an objective, you might put something like, you want to achieve it by July 2023 or by summer 2024. Making it measurable means you put a number to it, right? So measurable is the M in the SMART framework. And you might say, I want to be able to have 50 new clients by the end of 2024. So putting those numbers to it are super important. Even if you get to the end, I want you to report on your progress on your SMART goals every month, even if nothing happens, because at some point you are going to start to see an uptick, and it's going to be important to see, well, where did that happen, so that whatever we're doing at that time, we can continue doing it. So keeping track of that is super, super important. And then break them down into actionable steps. Create a timeline to track your process. Again, breaking it down is really, because you have, if you want to think about the quarter, okay, it's great, I want to achieve 10 new clients by the end of the quarter. But maybe I break that down to say, okay, if I need 2 new clients this month to meet my objective, what is that going to look like? It means I'm going to be at 3 networking events this month. It means I'm going to be sending out 100 prospect emails in the effort to book, say, 50 discovery calls. You have everything broken down so that you're able to track your progress. And then when you're tracking your progress, it's so easy, again, like I said, to pivot, because you'll say, okay, this is not helping a lot. It's been 3 months. I sent out 300 prospect emails and I've only booked 2 calls. Okay, sending out prospect email is not for us. And that's a whole expense you could just throw out the window because it's not working. However, you might see, okay, networking has really brought us some stuff in. I've had to spend for parking and tickets to get in, but we were able to close a certain amount of business. So when you are tracking those things, you're better able to decide how you're going to move in your business. So our next pillar, everybody's favorite, financial management. This is groundwork laying 101, right? Because you're not going to get too far if you're not managing your finances well. I know, because I've been there, right? Like, the money comes in, and here's what's really challenging is that when you have a lot of things going on, money's coming in, money's going out, and you're not keeping track of what's going out. Oftentimes you get money in, let's say you sell flowers. Flowers are $50 for a dozen, and you got to buy the materials. The materials cost $25. So that means you would have a $25 profit. But then there are other things happening. Oh, the client wants a ribbon and wants that, and you got to have all these extra expenses. And tracking that is so important, because now you can go back to the client and say, by the way, you wanted this special ribbon that I ordered and it cost XYZ. Or you might tell them that beforehand, it cost XYZ. Because now if you're cutting into your profits, what you set aside or what you have projected as your profits, that's where the problems come in, because you're making plans for those profits. So financial management is vital for the sustainability and growth of your business. You need to establish sound practices by creating a budget, tracking expenses, and regularly reviewing your financial health. Sound practices. It means, so I'll give you 2 examples. My financial management practice happens on a monthly basis. I'm going to say monthly. I know it's a bit more than that, but on a monthly basis, right? I categorize all the expenses. I get my invoices ready to go out. I have a look at what we have coming up. Do I have the money to cover that for next month? Oh, I don't. Let me go and get 2 more new clients to be able to cover that, right? So when you're watching your money to that level and you have a system in place to do that, you will very rarely find yourself in problems. And even when you do, you'll have enough time to be able to solve them if you have a regular check-in point to make sure that nothing is going off the rails. So establishing a sound practice for me, it was every month. I worked with an accountant who checks his every day, every day. And that's the beautiful part. Like when you can get to the point where, because for most people, they may have a handful of transactions go through their account every day, if even that, maybe one or two. So that day comes, you categorize your two transactions, nothing else has come out, nothing new needs to go out, great, you're done. But some of us, we put it off. And then the day comes where we're buried in receipts and we have all this stuff to get caught up on. And so this is why it's important to have some kind of a sound financial management practice, because when you get into that habit, and this is a habit, it's something that you are going to have to work towards. Same like if you want to lose weight or even gain weight, you know, you got to get into a routine on this thing, because you want to be able to manage what you have well enough so that you are sustained. You are going to want to consider at some point hiring a financial advisor, a bookkeeper, definitely a bookkeeper, because they're the ones who might look at things on a daily basis. But at some point you want to do that. Take it from me, you do not want to do your own taxes. Let's just say that landed me in some heat. I was trying to be on time, but I likely ended up shooting myself in the foot. So if you can help it, please get someone to help you with it. Financial advisor for sure. I mean, you want to be careful about those financial advisors. And I think it might be a different name, but there are those who sell financial products, which there are some good ones out there. I can actually refer you to some who do sell financial products and who can put you in the right direction in terms of making different financial decisions. But then there are those who might be the CFO in your business and who can really monitor what's going on with the finances and be able to tell you, listen, we can't afford any more of that fancy ribbon for the roses for that client because they're not paying for it or whatever. So having someone take care of that is super helpful, and a bookkeeper as well. I know that it was Wave. I used to be with Wave, and they have a service that comes with a bookkeeper, and they call you every month. They go through all your expenses. They categorize it for you, but they sometimes call you to just verify a few things. And your bookkeeping is done. It's so beautiful. Like, you feel comfortable, like your books are done. But at some point, you are going to want to consider, an accountant, a bookkeeper, a financial advisor, just to make sure that things are on the up and up. The next one is, sorry, I need another drink. My throat is dry. I don't talk this much, so I don't know. Okay, next pillar is systems and processes. I have a big smile on my face because that's my favorite thing in the world. I love automation. I love coming up with workflows so that everything just works properly. I remember spending months of my life at one point setting up entire systems for 3 of my services. I called it the Leviathan. And it was running super well. And I can't remember what happened. We just kind of fell out of it. Why? Because we didn't put it into practice all the time. So my advice to you is that when it comes to systems and processes, make sure you come up with something that actually will work for you. It has to be something you're actually going to use, something that's user-friendly, something that's easy to teach to others, because you're going to want this thing going on its own without you having to lift a finger. And that's the point where you know that you can, set people to oversee that and they just report to you, or you could have these systems just automatically send you a report about what's going on, depending on how you set it up. But having systems and processes in place, depending on what business you're in, is, it makes you look super good, super organized, super impressive to anybody who works with you, because your stuff is just working and on point. And just think about the time that you now have. You have this time back now to be able to continue to be a visionary for your business and continue to move and network with people and connect with people and grow the business as you want to grow it according to your vision. So when it comes to systems and processes, they are the backbone. The backbone of a successful business is your systems and your processes. There are a number of tools. I said this last night. I know every tool. I know every business tool out there. Every business tool, whatever it is, ask me. Ask me what it is you want to know about, and I can tell you because I love technology. I love applications, and especially ones that are designed to streamline your business. So, you can set it up where I actually had a call with a company the other day, and they can set up a whole system where if you're running an ad campaign and somebody clicks to learn more on that ad campaign, now by that click, they will automatically receive, I don't know, a notification or something like that, and then they will be able to respond, and then the automation can set up a meeting on your behalf and get all these things done. All you know is that you wake up in the morning and you have 3 new client calls booked this week. Like, isn't that beautiful? And you barely had to lift a finger. So setting up systems for like your sales, your operations, your marketing, all of that, automating as much as possible. Ask me about it if you need help. That is going to make your life so sweet you can't believe it. Streamline your operations by identifying repetitive tasks and implementing automation where possible, like I was just saying. So one thing that I know is hard for some businesses is delegating, because you often can't remember, well, what should I hand off for this person to do? And this comes in handy, right? Repetitive tasks. Anything that you do every day you got to get up and do this. Or every time you got a new client, this is the process. You got to create a folder for them. You got to send the contract. You got to send the invoice. Anything like that. There are ways to automate that. From the time the client agrees to your proposal, you would have to write your proposal. There are systems that will automate the entire process, and you don't have to be involved in that because you're busy doing other things. So it would streamline your operations by identifying your repetitive tasks and implementing automation where possible, and document your standard operating procedures, because now then you can hand it off to somebody. And yes, it may be a little bit much at first to sit there and write step by step on some of the things that you do, but once you do it, it's done. You hire somebody for the job and you're like, here's the paper or here's the document. If you need help, let me know if you have questions. You can just literally hand off, or hire someone who's like the manager, and now they have the process and they can train somebody on how to do it. And now your hands are off of training, right? So having that process documented is going to make it so easy, not only to train people, but to scale. Because the more you can have that effort duplicated without you having to train, but somebody else is training them, the more you can do that, and they can train the other and train the other, that's scalability. So you definitely want to have some systems and processes in place and make sure that you're documenting them, and it will allow you to work more efficiently. Efficiently. I don't know why I'm drying out because the fan is on. It will allow you to work more efficiently. You're going to be able to stay on schedule with a lot of things. Imagine staying on deadline with a lot of things, maintaining quality, and it helps you, again, freeing you up to think on more initiatives. What new things can I bring to the table? How can we be better, right? And business development is really, that's what it's all about. How can we develop the business? How can we make it better? So you're going to want to wrap yourself around some systems and processes. And I will definitely gladly help you out if you want to book a free discovery call so we can talk about what you got going on, and I can recommend you some things. I'm going to be sharing some information at the end on how we can get connected for a discovery call. So the next pillar is about continuous learning. We spoke about this last night, didn't we? all about learning. That's another strong foundation of your business. The reason why you're going to grow, the reason why people are going to keep coming to you is because you're learning all the time. And when you're learning, you're implementing new things and you're sharing it with other people, and it's keeping you top of mind. The more you can be, again, aligned with those trends and on top of what the changes are, it really, really puts you in a competitive spot in your market, because you're able to meet needs. You already know what the client's needs are before they even tell it to you, because you see what's happening in the market. And so, building a strong foundation of learning, a strong habit of learning, is going to serve your business well. And one of the things that you have to do that is to cultivate a growth mindset. Again, when you're thinking about how can we be better, how can we do better, you want to say, okay, well, what do I need to learn? What do I need to know? Who do I need to talk to? What events do I need to attend? What articles do I need to read? Or what forums should I be a part of to learn more? And so when you're in that growth mindset, you're just always seeking growth, you're always seeking information and news, so that you are growing and you're able to apply this in your business as well. Embrace continuous learning and stay abreast of industry trends, like I was saying, like technological advancements. AI came out of nowhere, and now everything has changed. But I'm seeing a lot of people talk about how to use AI to do this and how to use AI to do that, and people are jumping on top of it. You're in the tech space and you're not talking about AI yet. You're leaving yourself behind. So staying on top of things like technological advancements and even customer preferences, right? It used to be that grocery customers, you wanted to come in and have the whole in grocery experience, but during the pandemic, it was like, now how can I order? How can I now get groceries without going into the store? And so staying on top of customer preferences, your client preferences, and being able to adapt and pivot and be flexible around that is definitely big for laying a strong foundation. Let me get some more water before I move on. Dry throat now. All right. I hope this is helpful for you guys. I am an open book when it comes to business and business resources and tips and things like that. If you wanted to go more in depth, I'm going to share with you a link. If you want to book a discovery call, you can just hit sandragill.com/discovery-call. It's on the screen. And let's sit down and let's talk about your business. If you are you want to build a strong foundation for your business, you want to really develop your personal brand, you want to learn more about the ins and outs and what do I do and where do I start? Start here. This is where you start. It's a free discovery call. I'm not charging for this discovery call because this is just me hearing what you have going on, and I'm going to share what I know. And hopefully it's helpful. If you don't know, my background is that I am a public relations. I'm the president of public relations and communications at Verb 360. And my entire career is PR and communications. I've been an entrepreneur for 18 years. Recently merged my business with my fabulous partners in the US. And we are really forging ahead. It's really amazing when you can come together and collaborate. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's where I am with my business right now. And I really want to serve my Black women in business. Of course, I'll talk to anybody who's starting a business or who needs help at the beginning of their business, because I know how hard it is. I know it could be intimidating at times, and what do I do and what do I say? And I would love to come alongside you and help you in that journey. So you are free to book a discovery call according to what's available in the calendar. And hopefully we can help you, come to some great resolutions in your business when it comes to laying the groundwork. Again, this is all stuff that it's like you're going into business and you have a very strong idea of what you want to do, but you're not clear on some things or you have questions, that's what my help is here for. And I wish so many more people would have come to me before they went and spent thousands of dollars on a different agency, or talking to somebody who just took the money and ran, or somebody who didn't get what they were trying to communicate, and so the whole thing doesn't look or sound or feel like you want it to. And so if you need someone who's going to be your accountability partner, someone who's going to be like an advisor, someone who's going to be an ambassador to help champion your brand, that's your girl right here. Again, I will put up the link for you to the discovery call. And as you take down that information, I'm just going to reiterate some of these key points on laying the groundwork for building a strong foundation for your business. Defining your vision. Get clear on your vision. Define your vision. Understand your audience. Remember, I spoke about building buyer personas. And quick tip there, what you might find, the buyer persona that you create is often someone that sounds like you. My buyer persona sounded like me and the lifestyle I wanted to have. And so that gives you a huge advantage in connecting with your potential customer and your target audience. Have a compelling value proposition. When you talk about your mission and your purpose and what makes you different, last night we spoke about what makes you different, what makes you unique. Those things you wanna know them just off the top of your head. And it's not even something that you should have to memorize, because it's something that you're truly passionate about, right? So you can speak about it off the cuff at any time. There's a term in hip hop culture, spit off the dome. Whenever you're talking to anyone, you're able to spit off the dome, whatever the situation is. You can just talk about your business. You can talk about your mission and your purpose and your values authentically, confidently, and that's the kind of thing that helps people to really buy in and shows people the strength of the foundation of your business, and now they really want to do business with you. Create a strategic plan, manage your finances wisely and weekly. I'm going to say weekly. I think it's a good starting place. But the goal is to develop the habit. Even if you are practicing right now and you develop the habit to just let me open up an accounting software and just, put in some expenses, some upcoming expenses, and then track those expenses on a regular basis. Just do something to get into the habit of it, like any exercise. You meet a trainer, they might say, okay, start with 10 jumping jacks, and then the next day they say, do 50 jumping jacks. You know how these trainers are. But get into a habit with your finances, and then streamline your operations, right? So automating wherever you can, develop workflows, and workflows are super important, especially when it comes to onboarding new clients, because again, that's something that can be delegated. If you have to get the contract and set up the folder and set up all the files and get the questionnaire out, things like that, those can all be delegated. So once you have those processes in place and it's documented, you can just hand it off to somebody who can take it over and just run it while you are being visionary that you are. Above all, growth mindset. Never stop learning. Never stop learning, because there's so much out there to learn, and every day there's so much more out there to learn. And if you stop learning today, I think I said this yesterday, if you stop learning today, you're gonna miss what's happening, and now you're not playing on a competitive, you're not being competitive in your market, because everyone has gone ahead of you and they know about this and they've implemented that. All these companies that have implemented AI into their business, they're doing fantastic. But those who are hanging and hawing about it, unfortunately, people have moved on. So remember, a strong foundation empowers you to withstand challenges, seize opportunities, and build a business that thrives for years to come. You have the power to create a lasting impact. Now, go forth and lay that groundwork. What time is it? 8:43. So I did not share with you the next Next session tomorrow night is all about hiring for your business and your branding. I say that with exasperation because, man, is it ever a journey. You're going to find the good one, and then they're not actually the good one. Now you got to train all over again. But how do we avoid that? Right? How do we avoid hiring someone who is not going to show up? You're going to do a little bit at the beginning, or they're just here for the recognition. Maybe you're a superstar celebrity in your community and they just want to work with you for a little bit and then they're gone. How do I identify these people before they come into my camp? And now I can't get rid of them. They leave. And what do? I have to train somebody again. So tomorrow we're going to get into that. Please make note of the new time, 6 p.m. We're not meeting at 8 p.m. tomorrow. We're meeting at 6 p.m. Because I'm going to be downtown and I have a networking event. And I think that if I try to do it at 8, I may be doing this live at the networking event, which could be fun, but then you wouldn't hear what I have to say. So we'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget that if you need a reminder, you can just hop onto sandragabriel.com. You'll see the brand new banner there. So you click on that and you're going to find the form where you could just leave me your name and your email. And I will send you a reminder 20 minutes before the show. And again, I am on Instagram at I am Sandra Gabriel. Gabriel, please give me a follow. Tell your friends about me. Tell your other business fellow entrepreneurs about me. SandraGabriel.com is the main website. And that, I believe, is all I got, folks. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow.